It's called mandatory sentencing. Mandatory sentencing takes a 14-year-old kid and automatically puts them in as adult status at 14 years old. At 14 years old, they lose their rights because the district attorney's office says they're an adult. A parent can't discipline their kid and can't treat them like an adult, but the systems can. And then they take that kid at 14 years old, and because of mandatory sentencing, they'll get 5 years, 8 months for the first time of an offense. And then they're in that system forever. If it has to do anything with sex or anything like that, they're labeled a sex offender for the rest of their lives. They take the right away from judges and they give it to the district attorney. Systems like mandatory sentencing are against communities of color. And we have to fight the systems that persecute and prosecute us at a higher rate. In talking to Greg, I realized something, and I've been fighting this battle for 20 years in Salem, and Greg said something to me, and what I got from it was we could have did a better job through the last years, but we don't have what we have today, right? What you're seeing on TV with the police brutality and everything that's going on, you get to see it because of the time we're living in. 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phone cameras or video recorders. We didn't have social media. Now, automatically, something happens and millions of people get to see it. So it's a different time. We have a resource that we didn't have. So for the last couple of years, I've been waiting for the right time. And right now is the right time. We're looking for young leaders like Greg Simpson and all these young leaders in this community to step up and take charge. But we need every one of you guys here. Every last one, because this is a battle and it's a war and we can't fight it alone. We all have to figure out what part of the trench we're going to sit in, what we're going to champion, what cause, because the system's too big for one or two. And usually what happens is one or two do all the work. And then what's going to happen is 6 months, 7 months, 8 months down the road, we're right back in the same place. This is the time. This is a war. We're fighting a war together. If we don't do it together, we're not going to be successful. We're going to call on every one of you guys through SOS Corporation and stuff. We're going to call on each and one of you guys to figure out where you are, what's in your heart, and what you want to be a part of. We're not going to lead that heart for you, but we're going to try to facilitate every meeting we need to have. We love you guys. Appreciate you guys being here, and we're ready to fight, and I'm here for the next 25 years to make sure we get something done.
Salem, Oregon, show me some love. Thank you. To most of you guys out here, my name is Melvin Smith. I was born in Hernando, Mississippi in 1963. I was born by a 49-year-old woman and a 76-year-old father. They were old when I was born. My father had been trained as a slave. The most embarrassing time of my life was 8 years old when I saw my father. 8 years old. He was in his 80s. He said to two little white children, "Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir." I witnessed that. That was the most embarrassing day of my life. Then I found that growing up in Mississippi wasn't healthy because I was born with a black, big mouth, can't sit down. And the police, whoo, I took some whoopings, but I still was there fighting. Now, this is all new to me because I saw a different America than all of you. I saw a different America. I grew up in America where black people were still considered animals. The reason they would not give black men birth certificates up into the 60s was because they were still considered property. So the doctors and the police would get together and they would sell body parts from the black people. That's right, because if you ain't got no birth certificate, you don't exist. And if you don't exist, they can take everything from you. The reason I know this is because they took my uncle to the hospital. A mule had kicked him on the arm, broke his arm. And they told me, we sitting in the waiting room, And the doctor came out, and he had 2 highway patrols behind him. And he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but your loved one is dead." My mother jumped up and said, "Well, hey, he only had a broken arm." And then the doctor stepped back. The cops escorted my family out the hospital. Before we drove off, an orderly came to the car. He told us that a rich tobacco farmer needed a kidney, and my uncle fit it. And they took it. And there was nothing I could do but look and watch. And I started fighting. And I've been fighting ever since. I'm old. I've had 2 strokes, and I've tried to pick up a couch, and now I got a hernia. And I'm still standing here, hurting like a motherfucker, but I'm still standing here. I'm going to fight this battle to the day I die. And I promise some little girls that I'm going to live to see it through. You understand? I'm going to live to see this. This is important to me. It's more important to me than any of you. For the simple reason I saw the evil. See, I was born in the Delta. I don't know if you're familiar with the Delta, but the Delta of Mississippi was the crossroads where people, it was so evil, people would actually go sell their soul to the devil. It was just that evil. Robbery, rapes, murders, all by the police. Dirt roads, ditches. That's what black people had. You know, it's funny. You got Jason, you got Freddy Krueger, you got all these scary boogeymen. But when I was growing up in Mississippi, my mother told me, stay the hell away from the police. That's our boogeyman. And years later, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed years and years of African Americans being killed. A simple stop, your life is over. You've done nothing all your life, and then you get stopped by the police and you die? Where's the justice in that? Now, we're a small band of people, but we have one voice, and that is to vote. We have to vote. Everybody that got Republican on their name must go. Must call Mitch McConnell. He got to go. Lindsey Graham. He got to go. Chickenhead Kevin McCarthy. You got to go. Okay? Because you don't mean nobody no good. You don't mean nobody no good. Now, I ain't no preacher, and I ain't no religious person, but I'm damn mad. This shit I had to witness as a child. Now I'm an old-ass man, and I'm still witnessing it. This shit must end. Now, I love the support. It's been 40-some days since George Floyd died, and there's been a protest across this country, across this world, because everybody saw it was wrong. Now, everybody thinking about this pandemic as a bad thing, but I'm looking at it like this. Everybody was sitting on their couch when we saw him die. Everybody was at home, and we saw it. And it brought people out saying, fuck the pandemic. I'm out here to fight for a damn reason. Now, Fox News. Boo! Fox News keep calling us Antifa, monsters, thugs, punks. I don't see none of that here. What the hell are they? Because I see the American people standing together. I am proud to be a black man. You know, When I first came here, I actually had somebody ask me, don't speak. Yeah. I had somebody tell me don't speak because I didn't have nothing to say. Well, do you think I got anything to say, people? We had to get all these Republicans to make a change. Now, what we got to also look at, 4 more months of Donald Trump. 4 more months. That's all we got to tolerate because we all know he's going. The only way that they can win this if they cheat. That's why Trump is trying to take over the post office. Because he want to stop your vote. But bullshit. We ain't standing for that. It's too many of us. And we all thinking the same damn way. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You got those people over there holding the American flag, pretending that they are patriots. They make our flag look ugly. I have seen the horrors of the South. I have seen people die. I have seen people cry. I have seen babies die. There were no cell phones. Cell phones used to be the size of a truck. You know, so all the stuff that they did to us when I was growing up, when I was young, nobody caught it. I got so many friends that are dead now because they met a cop. I'm old, and I got no friends that grew up with me because they're all dead. And I'd be too, but I got out the South. Because when you're from the South, you're crazy. Okay, I'll put it this way. You got in the South, everybody wonder, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, they all got a high population of black people, don't they? Yeah, because North Carolina was where the slaves came in. So they are all packed around now, okay? But all of those states are red, Republican. Why is that? You know why? Because black people are given felonies right out the womb. The reason I know this is when I got here, I married a woman. She had a 1 and a 3-year-old. I married a woman with 2 children. I went legally to adopt those children. You know what happened when I went to adopt them? The damn, what's that, DHS? DHS called me and said, Mr. Smith, you have a rape and a robbery on you. I said, what? Here's the number. I called the number, and the first thing the lady said to me was, oops. Oops. 30 years. It was on me, and I didn't even know it. 30 years, I was considered a robber and a rapist, and I didn't even know it. Because I was born black. And I got no criminal record. I've lived a clean life. But it doesn't matter, because if you're black, you're born bad. And that's the way they see you. It doesn't matter. When you're born black, you had a boot on your back of your neck from day one. George Floyd was the lucky one because somebody caught it on tape. But I got a lot of friends who weren't that lucky. Oh, you're making me passionate about this now. I've been fighting this battle as a black man all my life when I realized that this wasn't fair. This isn't fair. And now, thanks to George Floyd, we're all here together, fighting for the right reason. We're fighting for right. So that's evil, this good. That's evil, this good. Okay? And we're going to keep this fight up, like William said. We have to keep these protests going until we see real change. Now, we got to go all the way to November. We got to keep this strong. We got to let our system know. I thank you guys, because this is the most incredible thing that I've ever witnessed. White people fighting for me. I didn't think it was possible. I ain't gonna lie. I hated white people a long time. I did. But when I saw this crowd of people, mostly white, fighting for me, man, my heart melted. My heart melted. So I want to thank you white brothers and sisters of mine, because now I know we are all one people and we are family. Now I'm going to pass this mic to somebody else, but I am proud to know you guys. This is the most incredible thing, and I am touched. I am really touched. Thank you so much. I love you too.
Hello, good afternoon to the men, the women, and my non-binary friends who are out here. I see you. Your experience is valid. To my brothers and sisters and my non-binary siblings who stand with us and who fight with us, I see you. Your experience is valid. Thank you for being here. Right now, the climate is sensitive and we are raw. We are all feeling it. It's like just a surge of emotion. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm scared. That's just it. I'm just scared. There's a lot of risk that comes with coming outside. I'm seeing the news. I'm reading the articles. I'm watching the live streams. I'm reading the posts and the comments. I'm listening to everybody's opinion and experience. And there's just a lot to take in. My name is Madalena Martin. I'm a 6th generation Oregonian, and I'm a 3rd generation born out of slavery. I want to take this time to highlight another community in Oregon, Coos County. I also want to talk about Coos Bay. Last year in Coos County, after Soraya Reyes was taken off her antidepressants by her doctor, she slipped into a psychosis. Her parents did not know what to do to help her, so they called, for lack of better words, the mental health squad of their local community. Instead of the mental health squad coming out, they sent the police, and Soraya has been in juvenile detention for the last year on an 11-year sentence for attempted murder. Her parents are fighting and petitioning to get her out, to get the case reopened, so they can look at that and they can have their baby come home. For anybody of you who struggles with mental illness, or has a friend or a family member who struggles with mental illness, it can be very scary to come off your medication. To be 13 years old, to be a young Black girl in a community, which I will get into why that could be even more scary. We feel for her. Check out Justice for Soraya on Facebook and on Instagram. It's the number 4. So JUSTICE, the number 4, and Soraya, SARAYA. How I heard this story is I saw this crazy Facebook video of a young Black man who went to the 7-Eleven to pick up something. And on his way home, he was followed by a group of white men who identified themselves as the 3 Percenters, a white supremacy group. This man was followed for 7, 8, 9 minutes through his town and community. Well, fortunately, he was able to videotape this, calling out and asking for help from bystanders. Nobody came to his aid. The only person who has had any legal action taken against them is the man who made a left turn without signaling to pull over and to help this young man who was being harassed. That's why we've been out to Coos Bay. Come to find out, Soraya. Learning about Alonzo Tucker, the only Black man to be lynched. He was lynched in Coos County. He was lynched in Coos Bay. They are petitioning to get a statue erected in his honor. Thank you. Also in Coos County, there's a piece of fence that says no N-word zone. And it don't say N-word. It was up for 4 days before anybody did anything about it. The Black Lives Matter group out there held a protest at the city square. Dang, man. They chalked Black Lives Matters in the ground. The next day, somebody was out there with a hose hosing it off. People in the community were upset, calling that vandalism. It was chalk, yo. I appreciate everybody who came out here to our city in Salem and encourage you to look for other protests that are happening in our state that align with your beliefs. If you are concerned about social distancing, this event, as well as the event that happens here in this grass on Monday, is safe for social distancing. And again, the men, the women, my non-binary friends who are out here, I see you and I appreciate you for standing with us today. That's all I have. Thank you guys very much.
We're here to build it. Help me build it, please. I ask you guys, help me build this community. I ask the young generation for your help and for your guidance as well. I know I'm older, but that don't mean that I'm smarter. I may be more experienced, but it don't mean I'm smarter. Right, sister? You right there on the phone, Miss Lady. Right? And I get that you young generation are angry. I get you young generation are mad because you think the old cats don't understand you. I understand you. I understand that y'all going through a rough time. I understand that y'all need a shoulder to lean on too. I do. Come lean on mine and let me listen to you. And let's help each other from an old man to a young man. From an old man to a young woman. I can help you. Let me help. We got older people who's in the same generation as me. Let us talk to you and let us listen to you. Okay? Be strong right now. This is time that you have to be strong mentally. This is a time that you can't be angry, but you have to be smart. You got to learn how to use the tools that you have. Okay? Learn how to use your tools. You know what tools are, right? Mental tools here. Learn how to use them. Please. Because you know how to use your tools, this would be a whole different world right now. We need you in office. We need you to learn politics. We need you to educate yourself. You're going to become teachers. Then that's what you do right now. Because as long as you do that, none of this won't happen no more in the future. None of it. So give yourselves applause, young generation, that you are here to make a change for the best. Thank you for your time. If I was rude, forgive me. But I care about Salem. I do. Sometimes I forget my house because I care about what's going on in this community. So let's build together. Build! Build! I can't hear you. Build! 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 One community. Come on, one community. One fist and one big dent.
Hi, I'm Owen Thomas. I work for Page Hook for state rep, running out in the 17th House District. But I don't have a sermon to give, but I have some information. There was a special session last month that was called by the governor to address both police reform and coronavirus and economic relief. They got some police reform bills passed. It wasn't much, but it got bipartisan support. It makes me think that stronger stuff could pass in the future. They made it so that state law that police have to tell on each other when they see misconduct. There are 5 other ones. They're currently looking at trying to put all the responsibility to investigate police in the Attorney General's office. So when we hear about misconduct, we have one place to go instead of a bunch of different district attorneys. We have one person to hold responsible. I think they're working on funding the extra staff that the Attorney General's office wants for that. But there's going to be, according to Governor Brown, another special session either this month or next month. She's calling it to pass more coronavirus and economic relief legislation, but we do not know if police reform is going to be on the agenda again or if it's going to wait till the regular session in the spring. So you guys need to contact your state representatives and senators and make sure that they are pressing their leadership, Senate President Courtney and Speaker Kotek, to put more police reform bills on the agenda, whether a Democrat or a Republican. Lots of Republicans voted for police reform this time around. There's a chance that they might vote for more. If you live in Salem, your House reps, it's Brian Clem and someone else. Your senators are Denise Bowles, a Republican, and Peter Courtney. And Peter Courtney is really important because he's the Senate president. He controls the Senate. Stuff gets voted on because he wants it to be voted on. So you need to completely blow up their office and make sure that he puts police reform on the agenda for a vote when the next special session is called so that we don't have to wait for spring for more structural reform. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
What's up, everybody? How y'all feeling? It is hot out here. Oh, my gosh. If y'all need some water, there's some Gatorade, some water, still some pizza. Y'all, please eat the pizza, please. Please, let's not let it go to waste, you know. There's one thing I just want to tell Salem that, look, what I promote out here is your guys' safety, okay? And I understand that there's people that are on different pages, and that's fine. I don't judge you. I'm not here to attack anybody who wants to do anything different, but I am here to try to unite my people. And I don't want somebody to try to tell me to limit on how to unite my people. I'm going to do what my heart tells me to do. So if I see my people in danger, I'm going to try to call them to safety. I should not be condemned for that. Now, my pursuit in doing it might not be perfect, but remember, we are in a moment that causes confusion. We're in a moment that causes passion, drive, anger, sadness. I'm experiencing all of these things while I'm out here trying my hardest to unite us. So please do not judge me on my approach. Judge me by my intent. And I know they say that intention is the pathway to hell. Okay, I understand it, but I'm not going to have bad intentions just because good intentions is the way to hell. I'm still going to have good intentions, okay? So just remember that when you're dealing with Greg Simpson, you're dealing with somebody who is under the eye of the public, where anything I say it can tear me apart. So I'm trying my hardest under that light to be the best man that I can and approach things in the best way that I can see fit. It might not be the best way, and I'm sorry if it's not, but this is just me trying. This is me making myself vulnerable to my community to say, even if I make a mistake, I'm putting myself out there for you. Okay, I do have a lot of passion. I do have a lot of anger. Stuff is going on, and I've seen a way that we can fix it. But people want to continue to do the things that we've always tried to do, and it doesn't do anything. We can stand out there and yell with them back and forth all day, but what's going to happen? Nothing. We all go home. Somebody went to jail. Somebody got shot with a rubber bullet. Somebody got arrested. Our people. And then what happened at the end of that? Something to talk about, a story for the newspaper, something to say, oh, we're involved, put the light on Salem. That's not what this is about. This is about getting organized. I heard somebody sit up here and say that they're beating us because they are more organized than us. We are more easily distracted. All it takes is a little something and everybody's over there like, what's going on? People start looking and seeing, is our message not strong enough to keep your attention? Is this not important enough to keep you standing right here and learn the actual things we can do to make change? Yelling at somebody will not make change. You can't yell at them and convince them to take their mind or change their mind. It won't happen. You can yell at them all day. And as a human race, it's like that's what we've been addicted to doing, is yelling at each other to try to get a point across. When we go to the SOS Center, I'm opening up a debate class so that way we can learn how to have a conversation without stuff like that happening, without people being in the middle of the street almost being hit. And I understand some people have passion for that, but that don't mean I still want to watch you get hit. That don't mean I'm still going to stand there and just let it happen because you okay with it. I love you too much. So if I come at you like, hey, get out the street. You're putting your life in danger. And then you come at me like, oh, where's my intent? My intent is keeping you safe. Where am I wrong in that? You tell me where I'm wrong in that and I'll stop. I promise you that. Because I know I'm not wrong. I love each and every single one of you. So when I see you over there putting your lives on the line, when I know there's a better way, what do I look like encouraging that instead of trying to influence something that you can do safely and create more of a change? Which one makes more sense? Let's get into these books. Let's start understanding each other as a community. Let's start understanding the law. I understand the war part, but when they come at us, when they cross this over here to come at us, that's when we like, what are you doing over here? We are over here. Let's keep our attention focused. And that's what Salem is struggling with, focusing on the task at hand. And yes, we can grow internally within that movement. There's things that I can learn while I'm on this movement that'll help me at the end of it. But I'm still focused on the end, though. I'm focused on what's the end plan. Get racism out of the system. I'm not out here to argue with citizens who don't agree. I'm here to build a platform so those that do agree can sit with me. I'm not here to give my power to them and show them how tough I am. That's not what I'm here for. I'm trying to show my community not even how smart I am, but how smart I can be. Keep your eyes on me. Watch where I'm at today and watch how I grow. In 2 years from now, listen to my conversation and see how it has changed, because I'm not in this to be stagnant. I'm not in this to 2 years later still be the same man that I am today. I want to grow, and I want to grow with my community. But in order for that to happen, we cannot be disbanded across here doing different things. Even if it's peacekeepers, I'm not saying go make a line first and then prepare for it. What I'm saying is come over here, and if they start to do something, then go make a line, so that way we can all be focused. Because as we all know, when there's something going on, people want to watch, and they're not fully listening to what's going on here. The reason why this was put together today, it wasn't being heard by the people, and that frustrated me, because we're here to listen. We're not here to go attack. We're here to learn. We're not here to prove a point to them, because we're not going to be able to prove it. They believe what they believe. We believe what we believe. Cool, let's sit at our own table. Let's have our own conversation. Let's talk about a movement. Let's talk about action. Let's talk about something that can actually take it forward. Instead of just continuously to talk about how we've been hurt and what we need to do, let's start doing it. Let's start doing it. Let's practice love. People out there cussing at each other, people talking about me, but I hear people out there cussing at each other, practicing negativity and violence just because they don't agree. But yet they're ready to, and I get attacked within my own community for the same, and I'm like, look, we have to come together. We in unity. I don't care if you agree with me or not, but do we agree on the fact that racism doesn't need to be within the system? If we agree on that, can we please continue this fight and stop being distracted? Internally, we can have as many conversations as we want, but you need to understand that I'm in the eye of something, and I'm trying to take the lead on a certain fight. So when I'm being approached about this and about that and about that, I'm not equipped at the moment to deal with that, so I might not go about it the right way. Now, when I have time to sit in love and unity, oh, please believe you're going to hear the best out of me, and it's the truth. That's why it's the best, because it comes from my heart. I'm not up here to BS, and this isn't a scripted speech either. This is straight from my heart. But I just want your support. I'm not going to say I need it. I didn't get up here and say, my name is Greg Simpson, and I'm the leader of Salem, Oregon. That is not what I said. I just came out here and tried to do my part. And people said this to me and said, you're a leader, said you need to step up more. We need your voice. And as I started to, people started to disagree with the things that I was saying. Now, understand, when I got put in this position, I was not well educated on any of this. And I'm not stepping into this trying to act like I know more than I do. That's not what I'm doing. I know humanity. I know heart. I know right from wrong. All of the other stuff I can learn along the way, but those are the bottom line. And that's what I'm here to get us all to focus on. Let's focus on the love that we can create between each other. Let's focus on the power that we have in unity and getting to know the different knowledge that you have compared with mine, put it together, and we can take over the world. It's not a doubt. It's a matter of time. You guys need to understand that humanity has been evolving. And we keep thinking that the world is getting worse and worse and worse. That's what they want us to think. It's actually getting better. It's getting better and better. And the better it gets, the more of a picture they're going to try to paint that it's getting worse. Because they don't want you to believe that it's going to get better. They want you to stay complacent in the way that you are. Like, no, I'm fine. I got my job. I'm going to go home. I'm cool. Things are getting worse. No, things are getting better. This is human evolution. And we are meant to get better and better. Heaven on earth is a real thing for me. I believe in that. And that comes with human unity. Once we all get connected on the same page, and I'll tell you this, I experience heaven on earth when I do my SOS meetings. And I'm sitting there with a community. I experience nothing but love. Nothing but passion for the same things that I have. That's heaven on earth to me. And we can create that over and over and over again. And we can create it on a bigger scale. But in order to do so, we can't be out here like this. We need to get organized, learn the rules. That's what I'm trying to do my part. I'm not saying I lead everything. There's so many leaders out here. It's not just me. And I try to add the leaders so people can see. We got leaders up here. Julianne Jackson. Wilma Marchbanks. Pastor Brooks. There's so many leaders out here. I'm not the only one. Kylie McCrae, he's an inspirational speaker. I don't know if he's still out here. I did ask him to speak. I don't know if he left or not, but He speaks power into people's lives for real. But we need to start coming together. We can disagree, but that's fine. We don't need to hate each other for it. We don't need to attack each other for it. We can still work for the same team. On a basketball team, they got different positions. A basketball, I wanted to be the 4. I wanted to be the shooting guard. I wanted to be the center. But guess what? To get this game won, you still got to play your position, no matter what part you want it. We have to work together as a team. On each jersey, we got different names, but we playing for the same squad. We still playing to win. In order to do that, we need to be unified. There's too much division. And if I got to step up and say, hey, I'm sorry for offending anybody ever. I'm sorry for doing anything that made you feel like I don't like you, like I don't support you. Because that is never my intention. It's a side effect from dealing with what I've been dealing with my whole life. It's a side effect. It doesn't, my flaws do not define me. Where I mess up at it doesn't mean that's what Greg is all about. So don't take something that I did and paint a picture like that's who I am. It's not. Give me the opportunity and the patience that you guys asked for. Give me the opportunity to make mistakes because I am in a leadership role. Understand that. And it's not easy. And I'm still young. And I'm going through things in my own personal life and trying to grow into this position. And I'm accepting all the criticism because I was built for this. I was strong enough for this. I've been through enough in my life to keep me strong enough for this fight my whole life. I will not stop. Nobody will break me. Nobody will stop me. Greg Simpson Jr. is here to stay. No matter what position I play. I'll play my position as a regular citizen. I'll play my position as somebody who creates programs to help our society come together. I'll play the position of a mayor. I'm not here for a specific role. My only duty here is to help create resources. However I see fit, the best way to do that, or the people, I will play my part. I'm not here to tell you where I belong. I'm here to ask you where do I belong. This is my drive. This is what I'm here for. You tell me where do I belong. Let's not get it twisted. I never said that I was a leader. I only said it after I was called one. And I accepted that role. And I accept everything that comes with it, good, bad, and ugly. I was built for this. And whatever's supposed to happen for me, it will happen. But I'm willing to sacrifice myself, whether it's trying and failing, so that way the next generation can see where I failed at, and they can pick it up and move forward. This is not all about me to me. This is about me being a sacrifice for those that are watching. Do I have doubt in myself? Of course. I'm not going to sit up here and act perfect, but I fight past it because I look at the faces that are there for me. There are people who don't believe in what I believe in, but I'm there for the ones that look at me and say, thank you, Greg. Thank you for what you're doing. Those are the ones that I'm here for, to keep a fire under and keep inspired, to say that there will be a chance, just like my mother inspired me. She showed me that when you feel like the world is crumbling and you have nothing left, and I can go into that story, but I'll do that another time. But even when you feel like all is lost, you can still gain everything. And while you gain everything, you can still lose it all. So make sure you remain humble. And I'm from the bottom. I'm from nothing. So I know anything that I get can be taken away. So I'll never become big-headed. It might look like it to you, but that's not what's happening over here. So I appreciate Salem for coming out here and making a stand. I appreciate those that are willing to go out there and put themselves on the line. Don't think that I don't. Me saying don't do it doesn't mean I don't respect what you're doing. It just means I see a better way. And I'm not going to try to force you. I'm just going to try to tell you with passion. And don't mistake that for disrespect. It's called passion. And if I need to correct some of that about myself, guess what? I will. And my community will tell me how, and I will listen. And understand that one person comes at me in a conversation, if we cannot come to an agreement, that does not mean I'm lost for the cause. I might be able to talk to somebody else who could deliver that same message a different way, and I might be able to hear it better from them. So don't close me off because I didn't listen to you. You could have a friend that could tell me something, and I pick it up just as quick as you expected me to when you told me. So let's have patience. Let's create dialogue. Let's get organized. Let's stop being distracted. Some people come out here just for the reason to say, I know they're going to be out there with their Trump sign, and I want to go out there and cool, do your thing. But if your goal is to come out here and learn and really make a change, come over here and do your thing. And I'm not saying follow me. Let's get that out the way right now. If I'm doing stuff or if I'm in a growing point where you feel like you're still uncomfortable and haven't grown enough, that's fine. But instead of belittling me, go find another leader. Don't hold all of that responsibility on me. I am growing. There's other leaders out here that you can follow, and I support them just the same. I back them just the same. So please, do not put that much pressure. If you don't agree with it, don't force me to take on your beliefs. Find somebody who believes in what you believe in and stand with them and back them, because then you're still in the same fight without taking away from somebody else's fight. That's for the same cause. We're fighting for the same cause. I might not say certain things right, but guess what? When I'm out here fighting for black lives and I'm putting my life on the line and I'm talking about racism within the system, I'm fighting for all of y'all. whether you realize it or not. That's what I'm out here for. I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm just here to do my part. And the majority of the people will tell me that, and I will listen. But that doesn't mean I can listen to 50 messages at once. Sometimes I need a moment. I need time. Give me 2 weeks before you come look at it again. We gave him 2 weeks. Let's come back and see now how is Greg acting. Now is how Greg talking. Because now we'll be able to see his growth. But the moment you make a complaint, you expect me to grow. Right? Come on, give me some time. Like you give a tree some time. When you plant that seed, it takes time to grow and become beautiful. So does a human being. This is not easy. This is not simple. It's complicated. The human mind is very complicated. Our emotions are very complicated. This life is very complicated. So please do not treat me like I'm supposed to just go about it like it's simple, because it's not. I'm here because I have love in my heart and I want to share it. I'm not here for no malicious intent. Never out of my mouth have you heard anything like that. I love you all and I'm here for you. Thank you, Salem. I appreciate you.
Thank you to everybody that's coming out here to speak. And thank you to everybody that hasn't spoken. If you've been around here long enough, then you've been through a lot. I've been writing it down. You've had people menacing you with guns, with vehicles, people committing assault on people over by the World War II Memorial on July 4th. You got people harassing you with megaphones, and I know I'm wearing a megaphone. That's a little bit hypocritical, but you got to sometimes fight a megaphone with the megaphone, don't you? All the while, you got people coming over and interrupting us. You got cops doing nothing about it. When we had everything going on over there, people on the road, who got people out of the street? Was it Salem PD? Salem PD was nowhere to be found. Was it Oregon State Police? They were nowhere to be found, other than if you look in some of these windows, they're up there looky-loo trying to see what's going on. Probably got their cell phone out. Oh, look at my job today. You know, they're putting it on their social media channels or whatever. What they're not doing is protecting and serving, which they took an oath to do. Every officer in Oregon, including Salem Police and Oregon State Police, have to sign something called the Criminal Justice Code of Ethics. It's through DPSST, okay? These people are not doing their jobs. Salem PD's website says that they're supposed to be out here enhancing trust in the community. I asked you, do you trust Salem PD? I do not. I do not trust Salem PD. That's probably going to get me jaywalking tickets for the rest of my life around here, and I don't really care. Okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing people getting tear gassed in the streets. I'm tired of seeing people get shot with rubber bullets. I'm tired of people driving their motorcycles through a closed street on July 4th and almost running people over, and the officers doing nothing about it. We are not officers. We can't make them do their jobs. It's the city's job to make them do their jobs. It's our city leaders, city councilors, the mayor, the representatives that are in that building over there that represent this district, the District of Salem. It's their jobs to hold those people accountable. And what they're going to do is they're going to kick the can every time they can. Well, it's not us. You got to talk to these people. It's not us. You got to talk to those. I know, because I hit up every single one of them. I have contacted every city leader multiple times. Believe me, they do not like me. They do not like seeing me in their inbox day after day after day. This guy's following us on Twitter. This guy's on Facebook. This guy's making websites about us. And I'm going to keep doing it too. You want to know why? Because I can. And because I will continue to do so until they do their jobs, or we get them out of there and we get somebody that's going to do the job. And on that note, one of the websites that I created is resignmartyhyan.com. Does everybody here know who Marty Hyan is? She's on the school board. She represents zone number 2. She's also got people throwing up white supremacist symbols in her campaign photos. And she's in the meetings acting the fool, trying to tell people that she's the victim. That this is a character assassination. Well, you know what? All that happened was someone put a big spotlight on what she was doing, and if that reflects poorly on her, then that's on her. Okay? That is not what we need in the school system. These are the people making the rules for the kids that are going to be going to school. Some of you are alumni and went through that. I know I did. I went kindergarten through 12th grade here, and I'm a middle-aged white man now, and I can tell you it was terrible. For my friends that are people of color, Significantly worse. Significantly. People try to tell you, oh, we don't see color. Well, the system sees color. I can tell you firsthand. People that I went to school with, that all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade, went to the same schools, grew up in the same neighborhoods, and because of the color of my skin, I was given benefits that they were not. And I don't care what anybody says about it because I lived it, okay? And you wonder why stuff like that's allowed to fly? Because the school board allows it to fly. So we got to clean up the school board. And in my opinion, it starts with Marty Hyen. I know she's no longer the board chair for the school board. Thank goodness, right? Can you imagine if she did try to go again? And even worse, she got elected again? Because they're not listening to the public. When they picked the new chair and the vice chair of the school district, the people that they picked were not people supported by the community. Anybody who watched that meeting knows that there were over 300 public comments saying who it needed to be and who it did not need to be. And look who got picked. It wasn't what the community wanted. So what do? Well, I'll tell you what we could do about Marty Hyen. You basically got 3 options. You can get her to resign. I started a petition telling her to resign. It's got over 5,000 signatures. Every one of those signatures sends an email to the school district telling her to resign. Well, she's not. She's made it clear that she's not. So she's not going to resign. The other option is you can do a recall effort. Well, people, I mean, that sounds nice, so we just recall her, right? I mean, there's a process for it, and we just go out there and we just recall her, and we get somebody else in there. Well, guess what? Recall efforts are not easy. They could be quite expensive. They could take a lot of resources, and I'm looking around here, you figure, okay, we have this many people here. It's going to take 16,493 valid signatures within the Salem-Keizer School District to get her recalled. And not every signature is valid. Based off of the citizen initiatives from the 2020 cycle, specifically IP34, IP44, I suggest everybody check those out. My friends are either the chief petitioners or the head of those campaigns. They have a 80% validation rate. That means that for every 5 signatures that get brought in, one of them's not valid. So you don't just go and get 16,000 some odd signatures. You have to get more than that. You have to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 21,000 signatures. Do you know 20 to 21,000 people in Salem-Keizer? I looked at my Facebook friends list. It's like 800, right? That's not going to do it. I could go out there with a sign and freak out on somebody and yell on my megaphone. That's not going to do it. It's going to take organizing. And you've heard that message repeated over and over and over today, and it's going to continue to be repeated. You have to organize from the ground up. If for any other reason, that's what the people on the other side of the road have already been doing for decades. They own businesses in Salem. They have a system in place that when a candidate wants to run, well, we already got donations from the business community. We already have places where you could put your campaign materials. Oh, you want to meet to have a brainstorming session for your campaign? Well, go ahead and choose any one of these businesses, and we'll either feed you because the business is a restaurant, or we'll bring in food. They've got extensive email lists. They have lists to mail stuff to, and they've had them in place for a long time. We're just getting started. To quote Will, wake up. Okay? We got to get serious about this. I mean, don't get me wrong. You'll see me, I guarantee you watch enough videos, you'll see me acting the fool in the street. I've done it, okay? I'm not saying that I am perfect. I am far from perfect. Trust me. You could ask my mom. She'll tell you all of the deficiencies I've had over the years. But I'm here, and you're here, and we need to get other people here, okay? Because the only other option with Marty Hyen is that we vote her out in 2023. Do you want 3 more years of Marty Hyen? I don't. I got 1 kid in the school system right now and another kid on the way, and I do not want them in a school system where someone on the board, at the very least, I mean, we could talk about racism, we could talk about people in her photos. At the end of the day, she is anti-government, is she not? She believes and defends, in school board meetings no less, a group that is anti-government. We're not talking about the water conservation district director. We're talking about the lady that's in charge of our school system. And to make matters worse, it's not just her. There are other people on the school board. Another hat that I wear is I run all the social media for a former NBA trailblazer named Clifford Robinson. Does that name ring a bell? Probably, because that is the NBA player that had their likeness used in one of the most disgusting school board meetings, probably for sure in the history of this school district, maybe any school district. That was absolutely terrible. The fact that someone wants to prove that a criminal can vote in a virtual meeting, and the first thing they do is find the first African-American face they can find and use that to make that point, that is disgusting. And I'm not standing for it. And I hope that you don't stand for it. And unlike Marty Hyen, Paul Kylo, the individual I'm talking about, he is up for re-election in 2021. So, you know, in a perfect world, we recall all of them. If you're terrible, you get recalled, you get out of here, you get somebody else. But what we can do, what's going to be more cost-effective, more resource-effective, start organizing now to get him out of there. The last time he ran for election, he ran against no one. Literally no one ran against Paul Kylo in his school zone. We can't have that happen again. We need to have somebody go up against them. And it can't be me. It can't be me. For starters, I don't live in that zone. But even if I did, I am a middle-aged, white, heterosexual Christian male. The last demographic that we need in any office, I don't care what it is that demographic. We've had enough of it. You've seen the fruits of that labor. Right? We're done. We're done with that. You're out of here. Okay? You see me saying otherwise. I told people on Monday night, and I know people are videotaping. This doesn't go for the Proud Boys and these other people. But you folks in attendance, you ever hear me talking about running for office, you just come up and slap me. All right? I give you full permission. Okay? We're not doing that. So that's the first petition and website that I created. The second one is dedicated to our mayor, Chuck Bennett, not chuckbennett.com. The reason why I created that is because Chuck Bennett, while he may not be as terrible as some people out here, he sure as heck isn't doing his job. This city's in chaos. We have people trying to run people over in the street, people out beating people up over at the World War II Memorial. We got heavily armed people taking over the riverfront trying to tell people who can go in that park and who can't. Well, who the hell do you think you are trying to tell people who could go over to the riverfront? That isn't your park. That's our park. That's your park, your park, your park. That isn't their park. As far as I know, those people don't even live here. And they're escorting people out with big tough guys drinking White Claws and carrying around assault weapons, trying to kick teenage girls out of parks. That's disgusting. We can't stand for that. You know who's supposed to step up and make sure that doesn't happen? I think the mayor would be a good one, wouldn't they? Have you heard Mayor Chuck Bennett talk about that even one time? Have you heard Mayor Chuck Bennett talk even one time about what's going on the school board? And I get that Chuck Bennett's not on the school board. That's not his gig. But that school board represents the city that he's the mayor of. The students in his city that go to these schools, that is Chuck Bennett's job. Strong leadership. Well, guess what? We don't have any. To make matters worse, Chuck Bennett's going to be on the November ballot and no one's going to be going up against him. But there is going to be a little write-in slot, isn't there? And don't get me wrong, I would like somebody good to step up and we could coalesce behind them and we could do a write-in campaign and we win. But one thing that's even easier is you could write, and it's what I'm going to do, not Chuck Bennett. It's who I'm writing in there. And I know it's not going to stop him from being mayor, but it's going to send him a message that he sucks and that he's terrible at his job and that he needs to do better. And one thing that he could do almost immediately if he wanted to, which is the petition that I created to go with that website, is to call for a third-party investigation into what the hell is going on around here. If they don't have anything to hide, then why wouldn't he support such a thing? You want to do a third-party investigation into my freaking top laundry drawer, go for it, because I don't have anything to hide in that drawer. Does Chuck Bennett have stuff to hide? Oh, I would say based off the videos that I've seen and the lack of action on his part, there's some serious questions that need to be asked and answered. So that's the second one that I did. And then the other one that I did is reformsalempd.com. Well, if anybody that's ever been tear gassed by Salem PD or shot with a rubber bullet or had flash grenades thrown at them. And let's be real, they try to call them flash bangs. That's like a PR talking point, a flash bang. That's a flash grenade. You pull it out of your pocket, you pull the pin, and you threw it at someone. Is that a grenade? Is it not? And it makes a big flash. How is it not a flash grenade? That's a whole personal thing that I just get all pissed off about when we're talking about it. I'm sorry for any kids that are in attendance starting to ramp up. I gotta pull myself back, start giving myself my dad voice. But I'm upset right now, and I hope that you're upset. The fact that you are here tells me that you probably are. And you probably know a bunch of other people. You probably know people that would love to come down here, but they're scared, and understandably so. When people are out here drinking booze and walking around with assault weapons trying to act like they're here to protect when really they're only around here to cause problems, well, that's scary. Of course, again, I'm a middle-aged white guy, and I know it scares me. I can't imagine if I'm a young person of color what that feels like. That's Salem PD's job to prevent that from happening. Like I said, their website says that they enhance trust. They have enhanced trust. When videos are going viral, literally millions, if not tens of millions of people are seeing the selective enforcement, that are seeing the things that they're doing. I'm a law nerd, okay? That's why I always tell people I'm not a fighter. I'm a legal nerd. And I know that Oregon Article 1, Section 20 says equal protection of the laws. That means if that law applies to you, or that law applies to you, then it has to apply to me. And if you're down having a curfew enforced against you, then that curfew applies over there on the corner of Ferry and Liberty Street too, including and especially all the people that are up on the parkade in the sniper position, pointing AR-15s at people's cars when they drive by. And I know that happened because it happened to me. And I can't imagine how many other people drove by and had that same garbage happen to them. Yeah, they'll try to tell you, oh, well, Oregon's an open carry state. Yes, Oregon is an open carry state. But here in Salem, Salem Revised Code 95.095 says that you have to have a permit in order to open carry around here. You've seen the videos. Tens of millions of people have seen the videos. Saw a lot of selective enforcement. You saw a lot of favors getting asked. At any point in time, did you see anybody asked, do you have a permit for that weapon of death that you have there? Not one time. I haven't seen it happen even one time. You know what I did see on a video the other day? On July 4th, when we're down here dealing with all these people over here in this crosswalk, and you'll hear me on the video. Where's Salem PD? Where's the Oregon State Police? As we're over there barking at the troopers doing nothing over there by the flagpole, group of Proud Boys walks behind us. We didn't know where they came from. Well, guess what? There's a video out there that shows where they came from. They came from right over there, and they cross across this lawn, and when they get to right about there where those pathways cross, two officers on bicycles roll up to them, and you hear one of the Proud Boys say, "Can I get a favor?" Now, we can't hear what the favor is. It's inaudible, but the fact that a favor got asked, given everything that's gone on, doesn't sit well with me. Does it sit well with you? Of course not. Why would it? And to make matters worse, you'd say, okay, well, these officers are always talking about de-escalation, right? That's one of their jobs. Well, we don't go and enforce some of these things because we believe in de-escalation first. You knew what those people were going over to try to do. And instead of sticking with the group and riding over there to de-escalate and do their damn jobs, they took off this direction. And I don't know where they went or what they did, but what I know for a fact they didn't do was go over there and try to address that situation. I personally had a conversation when everything was going on in the middle of Court Street, because you have to realize, Court Street to me is a very special place. That's where the Salem hoopla goes down. It's gone down for multiple decades, okay? I play in the hoopla. I know I'm short and fat, and I look like probably the last person that should play in hoopla, and there's probably a lot of validity to that, but I do, and I have, and I love it. And it has served as a family reunion for the Salem basketball community for multiple years. And so now, instead of us playing hoops over here, we're trying to dodge motorcycles trying to run us over. We're trying to suffer through that Alexander the Megaphone guy's voice. My goodness, that kid can talk. You'll not hear me give that guy much props, but he just talks and talks and talks. You're probably thinking the same thing about me right now. I'm a microphone hog. It's a thing. Greg already knew before he gave the microphone what was going to happen. I gave him warning. Yeah, but Salem PD has failed us. Okay? This is a legit public safety concern. If you think that when something happens that they're going to be there to help you, we have video evidence that they are not. When we needed them the most, you see on the video, they rode their bicycles away and then went and hid up here on the hills. And I know that happened because you could see me on a body cam footage for Corporal D. Smith around, I would say, probably 11:45 a.m. on July 4th, going over there with my dad voice, flipping out on them, acting the fool. Why aren't you guys doing your jobs? Is the city not Salem's jurisdiction? It's a city road. Why are you over here doing nothing? And why are you hanging out with 3 other officers that are doing nothing? I don't want my tax dollars going to that. Have you looked at the city budget to see how much money Salem PD gets of the city budget? I'd have to look on my phone to know these exact numbers because it wasn't necessarily I'm going off topic here. It tends to happen. It was 137 mil or something like that, right? Yep. It was a 137-ish mil for the total budget. Salem PD last year got over 46 mil. We got a pandemic going on, do we not? We keep telling about budget cuts and we're going to have some tough decisions to make with our revenue. Well, wouldn't you think that the overly bloated, over 1/3 of the budget for the Salem PD would be a good place to start? Well, guess what? Not only did they not start, they gave them a raise. Their budget went up this year in the most recent budget by roughly $2.7 million. Can you think in these city limits, things that $2.7 million could go to? I can come up with a whole bunch of stuff. The only way that's going to change is if ordinary people like us get involved. And I'm not talking about get involved like, oh, well, I'm going to hold a sign, or I'm going to show up and go march, or I'm going to go try to yell at Alexander the megaphone guy, which admittedly I'm guilty of. But what I do in addition to those things is I get involved. I contact my city councilors. I contact the school board members. I contact and believe me, they don't like it. They've told me many times, look, the Oregon Attorney General's office trying to tell them to get involved here, which is another petition I started, for them to investigate Salem PD. You know what they tell me? Don't call us, we'll call you. Well, guess what? You don't get that choice. You work for me. They work for all of you out here. If you're a citizen of this state, if you're a citizen of this city, this county, those public officials work for you. And if they don't, you take them to task. They'll try to say, well, you can't go on. You can't just tweet at people. Yes, you can. You can tweet at people all damn day long. Is it going to change things? No, it's not, but it's going to make them think. It's going to put them out there on an island so that other people are like, geez, well, you didn't even respond? You're out here trying to claim like you care. If there's one thing that I can agree on with this group over here when it comes to politics, I'm not a big Kate Brown fan myself either right now. You want to know why? Because I've been contacting her office for weeks now with no response other than, well, the email address that you sent this to, you actually need to use this contact form. I've used that contact form multiple times. Not one response. Then all of a sudden I get this Google alert about a press release. Well, we're going to do a special session and we're going to start looking into this stuff. Well, are you really? Because you haven't even responded to me. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you probably haven't responded to a bunch of other people because we're asking the tough questions. They'll respond to the people that are asking the easy questions. It is up to all of us to ask those tough questions and to never stop asking those tough questions until either they do something, or if they don't, we get them out of there and get someone that will. My challenge to you is to learn everything that you can about politics and government. And I'm not talking about the bumper sticker politics where it's like, oh, well, this seems like a good one. I'm going to throw this on my bicycle or my skateboard or my bumper car. No, I'm talking about the boring stuff. I'm talking about looking at budgets. I'm talking about looking at Salem revised codes. I'm talking about looking at the policies for the school district The school district already has a diversity policy. It's called the equity lens. Well, guess what? They're not following it if their lives depended on it. And a big reason why that has gone on is because no one has been there in great numbers to call them out for being the failures that they are. And we can't let that happen anymore. We have to build the pressure and keep the pressure on them, and not in a way that, oh, well, it's fun when we were downtown marching. And when I say these things, I'm not saying that those things aren't good. They are. We need to march. We need to protest. We need to hold signs. But it has to be coupled with civic engagement. Okay? You need to get out there and know what ward you live in. You need to know what school zone you live in. You need to know the difference between how someone gets elected to the school board and someone gets elected to the city council. You need to know what representatives that hang out in that building represent this area. I already know them. I'm a nerd. I told you, I already know these things. But then, on that note, use me. You can email me. Any one of you can email me, and this is probably going to go out on some video. I'm going to get all kinds of hate mail. Marty Hyan's husband's going to contact me or whatever. I don't care. transformsalem@gmail.com. If you want to know, I got a small army of other political nerds like myself. It's not an actual organization. It's just got a name that kind of had a ring to it. So we went with it. But at the end of the day, we are here to boost civic engagement. We are here to help you figure out how to hold your government officials accountable. There's stuff that we don't know, and that's the stuff that we thrive on. If you can find a Salem Revised Code, you're like, well, what the hell does this mean? And we've never even looked into it before. That's like, nerd gold to us. That's what we like wake up for every day. Like, oh my goodness, we got a new administrative rule to tear into, folks. Let's get it going. Okay? I'm not saying all of you have to be that level of policy wonk nerd. It helps. The more of us that we had doing that, the more we'd be able to get other people educated, but you don't have to. Know where you live and what jurisdictions in the greater political and government spectrum it falls into. A really good place to start is your neighborhood association. You don't have to run for office to get involved, in your neighborhood association. You just got to show up. This was my neighborhood forever, Highland. I'm wearing a Highland sweater. Got any Hawks here? Highland Hawks? Yeah, couple few out here. To be honest, there's not a lot of us. We got railroaded by the system. A lot of Highland Hawks in the criminal justice system, because not to excuse what they did, but I'll be the first to tell you that they didn't get a chance. And we have to make sure in every school, whether it's Highland, whether it's the Highland neighborhood, maybe you live in the Grant neighborhood, maybe you live in some other place, Pringle, wherever it is. It could be on a hill, it could be where it's flat, it doesn't matter. Get involved. Okay? I'm going to hold all of you to it, because this is going to be on the video. I'm going to go one by one, find you on Twitter, start tweeting at you. Like, yeah, I like the shoes that you just bought too, and your hashtag dogs of Instagram with your little puppy. That's great. Did you vote today? Did you pull out your ballot and see what was on there? Research what was on there. Don't go to your nerd friend. Hey, I got some fat hobbit at the park was telling me that I needed to vote, and he's going to start trolling me on Twitter. Can you help me fill this out? No, you fill it out, and fill it out in a way that you know what you are voting for. Thank you.
Guys, if you are here and you are not registered to vote, I stay ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And so I have a QR reader on my phone. We can just do it real nice and easy. Like, you can register in any state. So if you need to register to vote, please come and see me. Also, after this, Annette is doing, they're mildly, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. They're doing an event for SOS, and so they're going to give 20% of their profits. And so after this, you want to go grab some grub, that's the spot. And then we have Jasmine. So I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on up in Portland, but it's ruthless. It's super ruthless. And some of us from Salem went up there to try to kind of help folks get aligned and organized. And we held like a dope little sit-in, and it was beautiful, quite frankly. And I was tired of getting shot at, so it was awesome. And while there, Jasmine spoke, and Jasmine is an amazing ally. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about what that looks like organization-wise, and how you can do that.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm actually from Eugene originally. It's okay. I organize in Eugene, but our organization is bringing it up to Portland because they are the worst in the nation. So obviously, if they're that close, and we have such a good organization and so close, we're not going to just ignore them along with you guys, and that's why we're here today. So basically, I'm going to speak on white allyship and how it's really confusing because you aren't really sure what to do, right? Like you either feel like you need to come up here and be a leader and you don't really know how to do that, or you feel like you might step on people's toes, or you are here and you feel like you're not doing enough. One way that or a few ways that you can be a good white ally for this organization. First, starting out, I'm just going to base it off what I saw here today. It looked like you guys had more counter protesters than actual protesters. And one way that you guys can get more people down here is by calling out your friends, because I know for a fact that everyone here knows at least one other person they could call out and have here. Another thing is if you want to be more involved, but you don't really know exactly how to, you have the availability to go to protests, and you have a bike. I encourage you to bring your bike here. We in Eugene started having bikes lead our crowd before we got a little more organized, and that caused the cops to actually back off a lot, and that was really cool. And they can block off the alleyways for cars that are trying to hit protesters. They have saved so many lives. It's insane. So if you have a bike or you have a friend that likes to bike, have them come to the protests and just be here as protection, as security. Build a security team for those people of color that are trying to lead and organize for you guys. Another team that is really important is medics. I know that there are probably a lot of people out here that have experience in the medical field. I know that there are a couple organizations going around with people that used to be in the medical field that are not anymore, but that are working with protests. And I'm not sure if any of you guys are out here, but that's something that is super important. The medic team is basically another security team, but when we get gassed in Portland, like they go and they grab you, they pull you out of the crowd, they wash your face off, and they get you back in the crowd, and so fast. I feel like it didn't even happen, honestly, because they're just like, I didn't see where I was going, and they just grab you. So making sure that you have people that you can have at every single protest that you can trust as a medical team, and they don't have to show their faces or say they're medical. That's whatever you guys choose. Another team that is super important, which you guys seem to do pretty well with, is food, which this is awesome, but having the organizers spend money on food every time is kind of just counterproductive. When if you have a food team, we have a specific food team, and they go out on Facebook and they ask for specific things like granola bars and water bottles and Gatorade, and the community actually donates and provides almost everything that we use at every protest. So going into your community, I know that a lot of you probably have jobs. I know that Corona makes it a little bit different, but I'm sure that you have some connections with people in the community. Use your white allyship as going out to those communities or to those organizations and businesses and asking for donations, or asking for like food donations, umbrellas for protection. There's like so many things that you could go out and get from your community, and they are willing to help. They just don't really know how. So one last thing I'm going to say, it's a little bit not really based off of the teams, but if you are at an open mic or you have a situation where the crowd has an opening to speak on their feelings in this situation in Black Lives Matter and everything going on, don't be the first to step up. And honestly, if you don't have something really important to say, I would just say not to really step up, because if you step up, which you most likely will be the first one to step up, because we're taught in class, raise your hand if you're the good kid, you're the one with the answer, whatever. So you think, oh, I got to answer. Well, you don't. Because there's a lot of people out here that have a lot of good knowledge to say, and if you step up, you're giving their confidence a little bit less, and most likely they won't stand up and say what actually needs to be heard. And I've learned from all of these many different protests that having a lot of allies come up and speak on their part about it isn't as impactful. I understand that we all have feelings about it. I understand we're all exhausted, but we're exhausted now, and we haven't been exhausted our entire lives. So just sit back and let other people have a chance. Cool. Thank you.
All right. This is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This thing don't like me, man. Every time I get up here, I'm okay. Maybe we're good. Maybe we're good. All right, so I want to talk about the Nets a little bit. When we experience things out here in our community, it's not a question of whether or not. I mean, it is a question of if the business is practicing racism, but it's not. I'm not saying for sure. When I went in there, the feeling that I had was a for sure thing. The point of that was to take a moment to say, if that's not your standpoint, take a moment to show us. You know, do something that tells us that it wasn't because of the color of my skin why I was left there to wait for my food for an hour. Do something that says that you speak on our behalf or that you're an ally when you're talking about Black Lives Matter, that you say that you stand with us. Do something. So they stepped up and they said, we will do something. We'll do a fundraiser for Black Lives Matter, and they're going to give it to me for the SOS, and we're going to give it back to the community, and we're going to use it to ways to bring our community up. We're going to help out families the same way that I've been doing, families that are in need, because it's a really hard time right now. There's families that are waiting on their stimulus checks and they're not getting them. So money that's raised, that's what this money goes towards, households that are doing really bad, but with kids. We want to make sure that we're giving them to people with kids so they can get stuff for their child. They're trying to raise the next generation, and we need to help them. So that's what I've been doing out here, trying to create revenue for those that are, whether it's money, whether it's food. We also have a food donation at SOS where we accept food, non-perishables and perishables both, so that way we can deliver them to families that are in need. We feed the homeless every once in a while. We got to get back to doing that. But these are all things that we can practice within our community that speak to equality. Because if you have a community garden and you go garden plants right next to somebody who's of a different culture than you, you're practicing something with a different culture. You guys are getting to know each other. You guys are conversating about things that you weren't talking about before. And those are the things that I'm trying to implement and put into and emphasize in our community. Now, I understand that there's some concern. I understand. Mic check, mic check. Thank you. Y'all give it up for Julianne one time. Okay. If there's anybody out here that also feels like they have an experience they want to share or something that they want to talk about, feel free to come up here. We're here to hear it from the community as well, not just talk to you, you know. We want to hear from y'all too. You want to speak? Come on with it, man. Y'all give it up for Mr. Steve.
Hey guys, how you doing? So my name's Steve Bell. I'm actually the coordinating director over in Dallas right now for the Polk County Democrats, and we're working on all the city council and all the mayor races in that area. And what I really want to talk to you guys about is city council. And do you actually even know who is on your council? Have you voted before? If you voted for city council in the last 4 elections, 2 elections, last election, raise your hand. Okay, do you know who you voted for? Do you even remember who was on that ticket? The point is that these seats are just being held by people because no one runs against them. Okay, most of the seats in most of the towns out here are just the top 5 people get those spots. Okay, there's some rules, but the point is you can run for those seats. It doesn't take anything but you going down to the city hall and actually filing in between the time that they let you to run. Then your name appears on the ballot. What are the odds that some of you guys can actually get in by just having your name on a ballot and not even running a race? What do you think? It's actually pretty high odds because no one looks at their ballot for city council. And this is where our police budgets, this is where our city budgets, this is where everything that needs to happen in the city itself happens. You can be part of that change. All you have to do is put your name on the ballot. Okay, that's all you have to do. If you put your name on the ballot, we will turn these seats. We will be able to make actual direct change to these budgets. So instead of us just telling them what to do, why don't we just become them so we can do what we need to do to make equality here in our system? Who here wants to someday actually make real change and craft the rules that we all have to live by? It's not hard, people. It's not hard. And if you have any questions about how to run, okay, this is actually my wheelhouse, and I have a bunch of friends in this town that can help you too. So if you want to run for city council, or you want to run for mayor, or you want to run for state legislator, or you want to run for school board, or you want to run for the dog catcher, I don't care what it is, we have seats to fill and you can be the people who fill them. Okay? You can be the people that fill them. You can be the ones that make change. Real systemic change. So I encourage all of you to not only get involved, if you think you can run, run. It's one meeting a month for the most part. You check out, you listen to people, you listen to their problems, and then you come up with ways to fix them. That's what the city council does. That's what you can do. So let's step up to the board and let's start running for these seats so that we can make the decisions for the future. Not 80-year-old white men. Us today. Thank you.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. This thing is falling apart, man. Is there people out here that are interested in running? Anybody? 1, 2, 2. We need more runners. 3. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, we need more runners, man. We need more people that are willing to say, you know what? I might not know much about this, but I'm going to go ahead and learn. I'm going to go ahead and educate myself. That's what we're doing out here. We need as many as we can. There's so many positions. It's not just one. Somebody can run for mayor, but he only has 1 vote. You got the city council, they got 8 votes. So we need to start getting people in positions like to where it makes sense, to where whoever's mayor, whatever he's speaking for, the community put him in the position. So he's speaking for the community. We put the city council members in the city council, so they got to speak for us. Once we get everybody on the same page, everything we're asking for will just happen. Like, yo, we need this to pass. We need this to happen. We need this to go. And it's going to happen because we're in control again. Now, we all know that for a long time, it hasn't been cool to be educated on these things. I myself just learned about I saw a rap video where it was a dude talking about how we only pay attention to the presidential elections and we don't pay attention to our local. I've never been this inspired about my local elections, never. Like I said, I just registered to vote. And that's because they made me believe my vote didn't count. But today, with what's going on, I see so much potential. And I'm like, wait a minute, what if I was wrong and I'm missing out on being a part of that? I don't want to do that no more. So let me step up and let me do that. Living here in Salem, it's weird when you grow up getting used to something. That's just the way that it is. And then when you grow up, you start to look back and you're like, wait a minute, that's not right. I accepted that my whole life. And now I got to try to figure out a way to make sure that don't happen to my nieces and my nephews. And it's also about creating avenues for our younger generation to come up here, learn all of this stuff. I don't see too many kids. I would say have some kids come speak, but we all grown out here. So y'all want to come speak? Y'all got something y'all want to talk about? No? Oh, okay, that's what's up. Well, I love it here in Salem, Oregon because of the potential that we have. There's potential here that we have not tapped into. We've made it look good, but we haven't really tapped into it yet. It doesn't mean we're not on our way, but we need to continue to find a way to be driven. We need to continue to look at our lives and say, what can I do to help? I've heard plenty of people come up here and speak about the ways that you can. Some people aren't meant for everything, and that's fine. And we got to remember, let's not hate each other for the role to replay. Let's just encourage each other in our roles, because that's how we're going to get stronger. That's how we're going to move faster. That's how we're going to fight harder. What we're up against is not easy. This is not something that was created in 2 days. This has been hundreds of years in the making. Since before they even touched this land, they planned on what they was doing. I don't care what nobody says. They planned that. And then when they got over here, they was like, we don't want to listen to y'all no more. And we're going to do our own thing. They took over here, and then now we got to do it with it. And they created a program where they made us believe it was for us when it wasn't. Well, they messed up because now we have the power of feeling like this is supposed to be for us. And we finding out that, we can implement ways to say that we're in control. We just have to educate. We just have to vote. Education and vote. Those are the most important things right now. It's not about getting your point across to somebody. It's about taking action. It's about believing in each other, getting on the same page and thinking about common goals and making sure that we stand on that, united together as a community. The sun is, sorry. I know y'all out there in the sun. I got a little bit to say, but this is what we have to continue. It doesn't matter. And I'll tell you right now that it's the value is in the quality of the people that you're with, not in the numbers, not in the quantity. I'd rather stand strong with one dedicated, honest person than with 1,000 that are there for the wrong reason. I'm not here to look cool. I'm not here to be that guy. I'm here to just do my part in whatever position I may play to create change in our society. I grew up in Salem, the darkest, worst parts, the most broken part of Salem, where people say, ain't no hood in Salem, or ain't nothing to worry about. The hood don't just mean people walking around with guns and gang banging. My neighborhood was a bunch of people on drugs, addicted to meth, walking around like zombies. And I'm a child, 12 years old, walking around having to deal with these people. I grew up in between the penitentiary and the mental health institution. What does that speak on when I'm 10, 11, 12 years old walking around the neighborhoods and these are what I'm seeing? What is my mental going to be like growing up like that? Salem doesn't implement anything in between there because Salem is known as a retirement city. And then they have Willamette, so they lean a little bit towards the college with them mainly, and then they got the political side. But it's not meant for a community. And what they need to understand is that when you implemented Salem, Oregon as that, it's changed since then. It's been a long time. There's been generational amounts of families that have been born here and raised here. And there's actual communities. This isn't just a retirement city anymore. This is actually a town with people in it that have kids that care about them. You know, so we need to start re-examining the policies they put in place when they thought that this was just a retirement city. It's time to change those. That's old news. We got something new here. And that's why we need to create something new. And when I come up with stuff, you guys don't understand that I used to run a media company. And in that media company, I actually put on a lot of events. And I put on events because I like to see people enjoy themselves. I like to be a part of that. It feels really good. That means more than money to me when I get to enjoy that. And that's what I practice, and that's what I want to see. So everything that I'm doing, that's what I'm trying to implement, is a society that we can come together and be happy and feel good about what we're doing. Have the freedom to be ourselves, to be who we are without being mistreated, without being murdered on TV in front of the whole world. And not in front of the whole world. There's people that are getting killed not in front of the whole world. There's people that have been murdered and people don't know about it. And we're fighting for them too. There's names out there that we don't know. And we're fighting for them too. Just because their names aren't said don't mean that's not what we're fighting for. And the more you realize what you're fighting for, the harder you'll go. Because I know I sit and think about this all day, every day. I can't take a break. I try, but I can't because I care. Somebody who didn't care, they wouldn't reply to the stuff that you guys say. They wouldn't give you no energy back. I do care. Even if it don't seem like it, I do. And I'm trying as far as who I am. I can't change like that. I got to grow. It takes time. I'm a tree, baby. Give me a minute, you know. And I promise you I'm going to sprout into something beautiful. I can't make no promises as far as the future, but I know that I'm finna give y'all my all. I ain't got nothing else to do. What else I'm going to do? Go to work, go home, and go to sleep? I got to go to work tonight. People tell me, how come you ain't sleep? Because I got stuff to do, man. The world is in trouble, man. I'll sleep when I die. I ain't got time for that right now. And if I got the energy to do it, I'm going to do it. Until I'm up here going like this, and you guys are like, Greg, put down the mic, go on. All right, y'all, let me get some sleep. Until that day, I'm going to be up here just like this. Another thing I want to talk about is Portland. Dre Miller came out here and spoke earlier. And I want to say that on August 1st, we're putting together an event where we're trying to take people from Salem up to Portland. But we got to have a meeting first so we all understand what we're getting into. And we don't want to put nobody in dangerous way that's not willing to put themselves on the line for that. I know I am. And there's no pressure. Everybody has a part to play. People told me that that's not my part to play, but I don't care. I'm not going to let political stance get in the way of nothing. I'm not going to, no, we need to keep you safe. I'm not here for that. I'm here to make a stand. When this is all said and done and the smoke clears, if I'm there for a position, cool. But I'm not here. That's not what I'm doing this for right now. I'm doing this for a change. I'm doing this to stand with my people. I'm there for the times that the agitators come. I'm in their face too. I know how to do that. But I do also understand it's not really going to get us anywhere. If anything, let's go out there, let them know that we there. Cool, yeah, how many y'all ain't ruining nothing. We here to still speak our message, but now we going back to what we was doing. We ain't got to sit out there and talk to them all day. That's what they want. If y'all didn't notice, they looked disappointed the whole time they was out there looking for us, talking about, oh, they're not going to come out here today, guys? They're just going to stay over there? This is where we were at. There's a buffer right in between us and them. They didn't come all the way over here. You know, people want to do that. They want to go over there, and they want it too. They was over there waiting, please. Well, are they over there clapping and stuff still? Do we have somebody to pick on? That's what they were looking for. And somebody gave it to them. And then some stuff almost happened. Somebody almost got hit by a car. And this is the importance of what people say, that, oh, we don't care what you're talking about. We're here for our own reason. Cool. That's fine. But understand that this is an event that I tried to help put together in a peaceful way. That's why I moved it over here, because the roads were not blocked. And I do not want nobody that I asked to come here to get hit by a car. Because then guess what? People are going to say, oh, somebody got hit by a car at Greg's event. And before it's Greg's event, it was everybody's event. But now something happened. Oh, now it was Greg's event. So it's Greg's fault, because he didn't block off the roads. And this is the things that I got to come and deal with. So when I go over there and try to talk and my voice means nothing and people say, Greg, get out of here, it just goes to show how united we really aren't. We got people splitting off over there, people splitting off over there. When we came here for one reason, we didn't come here to argue. I didn't say on the thing, we're going to go down there and confront the people at the steps. We're going to go down there, and that's not what I said. And if people want to do it, go ahead. I'm not here to tell you what and what not to do, but I'm going to say, if you're telling me you're here to support my movement, and I go out there and say, can we please come back over here? Please just respect it. And don't treat me like I'm nothing. Treat me like my voice means nothing. Just because it's not what you want. And that's fine. If that's what, don't come over here and try to dictate what I'm doing when you don't even want to listen to what I'm trying to say. And my voice just gets swept underneath the rug. People try to say that, look at how Greg's acting. Look, he's out here yelling at us. Because you're out here in the middle of the street and somebody just almost got hit. So yes, I'm yelling at you. When a parent yells at their child, does that mean that they don't love them? And I'm not calling anybody my child. Please do not take that and run with it. Please don't do that. I'm just saying that I'm talking about the love part. The reason why the parent does it is because they love the child, because they care. And nobody out here is my child by far. If anything, I'm your child because I'm here to learn from you. But what I'm saying is I share that same love. So when I see a car that doesn't look like they're really concerned about people's lives, pushing through, trying to hit somebody, and people are out there purposely to agitate it, and let's understand this. Agitating isn't just somebody who's against your views. You can be an agitator too. Let's understand that. Just because you're standing on the right side of history doesn't mean you can't agitate a situation that was not meant to be. We need to control ourselves and let us know, what are we here for? Why did we come here together? And everybody that did sit here and didn't get sucked into that, thank you. I appreciate you. It means a lot because it means you are dedicated to the message, not your own message, not your own intuition, but a united intuition. Not a personal feeling of, well, I need to go this and no. What are we asking for as a people? We can't lose that because we become passionate on our own and say, well, they're over there yelling stuff. I want to go yell too. But that's not what you said that we was here for. That's not what you told your friends. You came when you reached out and said, we're going over here to the war on racism. Did you say we're going over here to counter protest? I didn't come out here to counter protest them. I came out here to speak to my people because I love y'all and there's knowledge we need to learn. And I can't promise that every time that we meet up, I'm going to have the most education for you. But what I can say is I'm going to give you every single resource that I have. And I'm asking you to do the same thing. That's why I say you can come up here and talk and have a speech, because that way you can educate us on the things that we might not know. Some about your experience might be able to help me understand something, might help me in a fight. If you guys got suggestions, bring them to me. But one thing that people are not understanding is, like, I'm really getting messages where people are saying, look how tricky this gets. White allies came to me and said, we are here to back your voice. We're not here to take control of this movement. We are not here to tell you what to do. That is what somebody came to me and said. I didn't tell white people be quiet. That's not what I said. Please don't clip that apart and try to make it look like nothing. Look, I never said that, okay? I only repeated what one white ally told me to another one. And this other one was telling me that they said, you need to listen to me. You need to listen to me. These are the messages that I'm getting. As I was, so now I'm confused. Am I supposed to sit and listen to you? Or am I supposed to do what my intuition is telling me since we fighting racism? Which one is it? Because I'm being pulled apart here. And I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page as everybody else. You know, I'm just here to fight against racism. I'm not here to denounce what you want to talk about. I'm not here to tell you not to talk about what you want to talk about. But when you do things that influence a change in a program that I'm trying to put together, let's rectify that. When I was here the last Saturday, I did walk up to that line over there because I didn't know what was going on. And let's get this straight. Somebody said I shouldn't have even been down there. I shouldn't have came there. These are the same people that called me a coward for saying I wasn't even going in the first place. So you want to call me a coward and make me feel like my people don't believe in me. So let me show up and make sure they know I got their back. And then I get condemned for that. Well, what do you want me to do? It seemed like a black man just can't get right. They're trying to silence me. That didn't come from, don't clip that like that. That didn't come from me. That came from the audience now. But look, all I'm doing is my part. If it's not up to par, that doesn't mean I'm worthless. Okay? I'm still useful. I still have connections that I've made throughout my year. And I'm not here to be the main guy. I'm here to be helpful how I can. It's up to you what you call it. I'm not here to tell you none of that. And if you have suggestions, please come at me, but come at me in a way that's not saying, you need to listen to me. You have to do what I say because I'm from the community. You stepped into a leader role. And then I'm saying, ma'am, you're a white lady trying to tell me what to do. And then she says, and now you're trying to silence white voices. You need our voices. You need my voice because I'm white. Without our voice, and you won't go nowhere. These are messages that I'm getting, you know, and I'm just like, yo, like, and then she's trying to say, how are you trying to silence my white voice? I didn't say that. A white ally told me that you guys were here to push my message. So if I missed that somewhere, I do apologize, but I thought that's what was going on here. And if we've lost track of that, then let's call it what it is, and let's stop calling it in solidarity. Then let's call it, you're just trying to, you're trying to take the narrative. You know, I want to be here for the people that when I go to my sister's house, I got nieces and nephews that are in there playing around. I think about their future. This is not a game to me. And I'm gonna speak on something else too. Somebody said, what black people am I asking? 2 or 3 black people in my community. This is a fact right here. There are so many black people in Salem, Oregon that people do not know. And I know almost all of them. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why you guys do not know them. We talk about it amongst each other like it's the norm, like it'll never change. We talk about it like it's the thing forever. We say, man, you going to go over there? I don't want to call it no businesses because it gets sketchy. I'm just saying, you want to go out there out south to what's it called? And then we be like, everybody in the house will be like, what? Man, you know we ain't going over there, man. We staying right here in the house. We go club in here and drink in here. Why? Because every time we go out, we have to deal with white people that push it to the limit to say the N-word. They try to get, hey, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. Do you mind can I say the N-word, please? No. So the fact that I got to go out into my own community and people try to press the line and say, you don't care if I call you the N-word, do you? Yes, I do. And then they look at me crazy like it's just a word. I've had to deal with this at work. I've worked at Nancy's. I'll talk about this business because it's real. And I was actually going to try to sue her, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know enough. Too complicated. I'm just going to leave where it's at. But now I have a platform to speak about it, Nancy. Look. So working at Nancy's now, they play music in there, and I get it. The music that they play is uncensored, and somebody will say the N-word in the song. I get it. But nowhere in the world, in the workplace, should a white man be able to say, I mean, anybody for the fact. Let's just say that. Anybody shouldn't be able to, in the workplace, say something, even sing along with a song like, yeah, something N-word. And I'm sitting there, and then I don't even hear him, and he walks to me and says, hey, thank you for not getting upset. I said, thank you. I was like, what are you even talking about? I didn't even hear nothing that happened. I was like, getting upset about what? What's going on? I'm over here making a sandwich and stuff. Like, what's up? What's going on? What happened? And he's like, well, I just said the N-word. Oh, no, he said, I've been singing along to this song right here. And I was like, okay, cool. Good job, man. That's what's up. You know, and I'm not here to make him feel bad for whatever he was doing. I said, oh, good stuff. And then he was like, but yeah, I said it. And I was like, said what, man? What is going on here? And this is what we're talking about. It's not, we don't want to come blame with the community because these things really happen. And I'm at work where I'm on camera. If I do something physical, I go to jail. And this is probably his goal. He wants me to do this so I can be out-seated because he's been there for so long. But anyway, so he said, I said the N-word. I said, man, get away from me, man. Go back over there where you was at in the back, man, and go do what you was doing. Don't come over here messing with me, man. Get away from me with that. And he put his arm up on the thing, and he was like, why? It's just a word. And I have to literally control myself from exploding at my workplace so I don't lose my job, so I don't lose my apartment and become homeless, all because I feel cornered by a man who wants to use a word that he knows is offensive to me to put me in a corner, in a box, and I either have to act out or swallow my pride, which I shouldn't have to do either one in order to work for my own livelihood, right? So I take it upon myself to say, you know what? Oh no, because that's and I say, get back over there, right? I go outside. And smoke a cigarette. I go smoke a cigarette because I need to ease my mind, right? So I go out back. The other employee walks outside and says, hey, man, you can take the rest of the day off if you want to. This is facts, you guys. He said, you can take the rest of the day off if you want to because I think that guy he's in there talking mess. He says he's going to keep saying it. He has the freedom of speech, and I guess so now here I am being asked to leave pretty much. But the way I'm looking at it is like, cool, I can go ahead and go home. I ain't got to be around it. Cool. I'm like, whatever, man. So I leave. I walk away. Now, I'm like, oh, wait, let me go get my tips. I walk back in there to get my tips. The female employees are white, okay? And they come to me and they say, oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry you have to go home. Here's your tips. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Why are you sorry for me? You should be sorry for him that he has to act that way. You know, but then, so I was like, you know what? It's all good. I left, right? So I'm walking down the street, call for my ride, get picked up. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm losing hours. I'm losing money because I had to leave a work environment because I felt unsafe because of the actions somebody else took that were derogatory towards me. Why do I got to lose out on my money? You know, so I was like, you know what? And in the black community, we're taught don't tell. And that has went so far. It started off with saying don't tell the police. And then it went from, you know, don't tell the employer, don't tell on your brother, don't tell on you. Come on, stop it. It's got to stop somewhere. They're not going to keep creating this game and beating us at it. Forget that. I'm playing by the same rules you are. If I did something to you, you would call the boss right away and say, Greg did this, let's get him up out of here. He's not fit. So I jump on the phone. And I say, hey, Nancy, now check this out. This is where it gets sick. Say, hey, Nancy, I'm going to let you know that I left the workplace because it was an unsafe environment. I didn't feel comfortable. And she said, stay exactly where you're at. Guys, I'm not going to exaggerate. She said, stay exactly where you're at. I'm going to call them. I'm going to call you back. So in my mind, I'm thinking she's mad because he said something offensive to me. No. It's not why she's mad. She's mad because I left. Okay? So she calls him or whoever, calls me back and says, hey, he says he's not going to say nothing to you anymore. I need you to go back to work. Everything is going to be okay. And I said, no, I'm not going back in there. You're trying to put me in a position where something can happen, and I'm not going for that. I don't want to go to jail. I changed my life, and if I got to lose a job to keep I'm cool. I'll lose the job then, keep it. So she says, I hang up with her. She calls me back, and she's like, well, he's leaving. You could go back. I told him to leave or something. So I was like, cool. She made him leave. Let me go get my little bit of hours, and my little 4 hours I was going to get. So I go walk back to get my hours, right? Now, when I go back, Nancy calls me, and she's trying to ask me, well, what is your problem? And I said, excuse me, I just told you. He just called me the N-word. I'm trying to get up out of here. And then she was like, he was singing along to a song, Greg. And I said, I don't care where you are in the workplace. That is not okay. And she said, well, don't you listen to rap too? And I said, that is not what we're talking about here. That's not the problem. Even me, I shouldn't say that in a work environment. But this guy is. That guy didn't get fired. I mean, he quit because he was upset he couldn't say the N-word while he was at work. Okay, so this happens. And it's so normal, I accept it as the norm. I forgot to talk about it till today. That is stuff that happens. And I'm not going to go on a rant and try to get in I know Nancy personally. Trust me. I'm not trying to I don't care. I'm cool on that. I got a mission right here. That's a war all in itself, and I ain't got time for it. But these practices are done within businesses that we go to and places that you might feel like, oh, they don't do that here. They just might. A lot of people talk about Nancy's like it's a good restaurant. The way she treats her employees, it's a different topic, but the way she treats her employees, oh, let me tell you about this. Okay, Nancy, all the trouble you put me through. Look, she literally said she was going to make Trump burgers, right? She was going to make it a thing when he was getting elected. And that the Latinos who were making this food could not speak Spanish in her restaurant. This is facts. I'm not even lying. This is facts. They're talking to each other. I understand if you're talking to a customer and that customer doesn't speak Spanish, then okay, that's understandable. But if they're in the back as cooks and they're communicating to get things done in the language that they both speak, that they both understand more fluently than English, why are you telling them? If that's the case, don't even hire them. Let's keep it real, but don't hire somebody to oppress them or their language or their culture. One more thing that she did. I'm gonna get this out the way real quick. This was when a storm. Nancy is look. She's a character. Okay, she's a character. Look. So I was at work and everything. This has to do with race because she's doing this stuff because me and the employees that are in the building are Hispanic and Black. And I'm not saying that she wanted to do it to a white person. I'm saying it so happens we are Hispanic and Black. The everything. There was a storm a couple years ago or a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember. It was really bad and it shut down a lot of electricity in a lot of different areas in Salem, and the power went out at Nancy's in South Salem, and that means the vents went off. The only thing that was still working was the grill because it was electric, or gas. My bad, it was gas. Everything else is electric, and it shut off. The vent wasn't working. Now, if the vent does not work, the employees are not supposed to cook. Let's understand that. There's no light. This is illegal. I actually have the footage. Again, I just didn't think it was going to go anywhere. But like I said, I accepted it as the norm. I was just like, whatever. But everything is off, right? The lights are off. The vent is off. We have to crack the doors. She says, crack the doors. This is what her response is. I swear to God, I'm not lying, you guys. Find a flashlight and keep cooking. We said there's no ventilation. She said, open up the doors. That is real life. And I thought it was a joke. I'm looking at the cook because he got off the phone with her and he was like, she said, get a flashlight. I said, I don't know where no flashlight is at. What? We wasn't prepared to train for this, man. Y'all taught me to flip these cheeseburgers, man, and we ain't got no light to do it. No ventilation. I'm getting sticky and stuff from the oil. If y'all been in the kitchen before, y'all know if you cooking hamburgers, there's grease everywhere. In place you didn't. What? What? How'd this get in my ear? It's real. But my point in saying is that this practice is done in systems all around our community, whether it be the restaurant, police department, school board, all of the things. You got police officers that are throwing up a white power sign and they want to be excused. Listen, We don't have the room to excuse that right now. We don't have the time to ignore that right now. Not right now. That might have been something you got away with before it came to a breaking point in our community that you were taking black lives. But now when you're doing things like Proud Boys come up here and they're throwing up white power all day. All day. You are a police officer, a trooper at that. And they're out here all day throwing up a specific sign that we all know what it means. And I want to clear this up. People are saying it means okay. It means this. Look, it means different things for different people. For the white supremacists, it means white power. Okay? For sign language, it means something else. For some people, it means something else. But for white supremacists, which what we're up against, when they use it, we know what that means. White power. Let's not make an excuse. Even if he didn't mean to throw that up. The fact that you're that ignorant to do that in this kind of a setting just shows you're not educated well enough to be in this type of environment. So get up out of there. And if they're just going to come up with excuses and say, oh, well, it was an okay sign and we saw the guy got pushed down, how do we know that he didn't use that as an opportune moment to use the sign in a time that he knew an excuse can be brought up for him? We don't have time to give him the benefit of the doubt. We already gave. I was like, here come the antagonizers. You guys just stay seated. Let's stay doing our thing. But when this is what I'm saying. Like, to give somebody the benefit of the doubt right now is dangerous. To say like, oh, well, I mean, he could have just. No, he could have just either or. So until we know for a fact, he needs to be put on hold. We can't have you out here trying to protect people with a gun when you could be associated with white supremacy, which has been a question since the beginning of all of the protests. Is the police department a part of the white supremacy? That's why they're asking for third-party investigations. And if the community is that worried, why do they not care enough to address them? You know, statements get put out that say we have no statement. No, you need to say something so we know where you stand. You can't be just, a ghost. You can't be like, oh, I have nothing to say. That's not what that position is for. That's not what none of these are for. So as a people, this is us stepping up to say like, hey, we're here to check these situations. And the way that we do that is by coming up with petitions, the things that we talked about, but actually signing them, actually pushing them, you know, and actually trying to get them done. And I want you guys to know that there's something in effect right now where they're trying to get a street named Martin Luther King. We're the only city that ain't got one. The only capital that ain't got one. So they're trying to get one implemented, but there's only been one person that has wrote something to say we should get it. So that's out there. The link, hold on. Let me find the link real quick so I can tell you. I'm going to find the link later and come back, and then I'll tell y'all exactly where to find that at. About what? With that video, when you asked about it, when I asked about it, if he was an OCP or an SCP, they just deleted my whole Twitter account. Oh. When I asked. So, and the thing is, in between us dealing with the Salem Police Department and the Oregon State Police Department, we have to be careful because sometimes we assume either or, like they're not connected, they don't work together. But when certain comments are made and then they delete them as a police department, whatever was made, unless it was derogatory or out of line, if it's just a simple question, it should not be deleted. It should be answered, and then that should be set for the people to make the decision on how. So when you do stuff like that, it's not a good look. It doesn't look good. But we cannot allow these things to keep happening. And people are saying, like, you guys are being too soft in Salem. You guys aren't going hard enough. But that's because I understand that that's not what the Salem people are about. If that's what the Salem people were about, they would just do that. Statistics speak for themselves. So when you put together an event and you say the police are involved, it's safe, we're not destroying things, and then 3,000 plus people show up, that's what people in the city support. When you got high school kids breaking into the mall, spray painting certain parts on monuments or whatever, you know, that's not even what Portland is doing. They're doing something different. You know, they're putting the pressure around a certain area that they feel like have controlled the deaths of a lot of people in Portland. So we need to figure out exactly what it is that we're trying to do, whether that's just come together all the time and feel good about it or take direct action. And I'm trying to create SOS so that way we can learn how to take direct action. I don't have the book written already and not everything is official. I'm just trying. I mean, about the name, everything is good. It's called Save Ourselves, but it abbreviated as SOS. I will have shirts soon. I'm telling y'all, after this, I'm going to go to a Nets. I know a lot of people still saying they're not eating there, but they stepped up. They did exactly what we're asking. And when people do what you're asking, you got to be okay with that. Like when people say, oh, Greg is a thief and he stole this money from a donation and a GoFundMe for the BLM, right? And then I go ahead and show receipts to prove it, right? We can't treat each other like that in our own community. That's not okay. You know, I did spend, and I have proof for everything that I spent money on. A lot of those people are families that asked for money because I offered and said, if I'm looking for families in need of financial help with children. And I'll tell you, I gave money to more than 4 families. You know, so when people are saying I'm a thief, they're disrespecting me. They're disrespecting everybody that gave money to that donation, and they're disrespecting the people that money went to. Okay, and then there people. I'm not here to try to point the finger again, but I'm saying that let's look how this works, right? A black man will try to step up, right, and then he will be discriminated against, talked about, called names that he's not, homophobic, thief, bootlicker, all of these things, right? Even though I've stepped up and made myself vulnerable to all of this stuff, okay, but when somebody else gets caught making up lies to try to discredit my name, to disregard me and treat me just how we're speaking up against another black man that's stealing, I'm up on trial again when I'm innocent, guilty until proven innocent, and then those people are not held accountable. Those people are not called out. Nobody's calling them out to say, why did you make up these lies to discredit our leader? Why did you try to mislead us? Why did you tell him that why'd you tell us NAACP paid for these toilets when this man showed a receipt that he paid for them? Why are you saying that the DJ asked for money when that DJ offered, you know how disrespectful that it is? That DJ offered his time for free because of the cause. And then somebody said that he wanted to get paid. And if that conversation was had, it wasn't with me. And I showed my conversation. So let's hold each other. If I'm going to be held accountable trying to be a leader, let's start holding each other accountable when we're misleading other people, calling people names that we're not. Let's hold them accountable. I'm not saying put them on blast. I'm not saying attack them. But when you come into a conversation with them, hold them accountable and say, hey, I just want you to understand that I've seen that you did this. Don't do that no more. Let's continue to grow. They're not useless. That's not what I'm saying at all. We are all here to grow. Just because you can educate don't mean you can't learn. A part of educating is learning. How can you educate if you didn't learn before? So remember the learning part. We're all here to learn and grow together. It is hot as heck out here, y'all. It is hot. Does somebody else got something to say? Whew.
Nice. Hello. I don't have much to say, but I just wanted to come just say hello to you guys. I'm from Eugene as well. And I've suited up because I've been going back and forth between Eugene and Portland. I was there over the whole weekend for 4th when we got gassed like crazy and shot up. And I'm one of the live streamers that's been going back and forth. And I just want to, I guess, advice for you guys. Just I know you guys' numbers seem small right now, and what Jabs was saying, it's important to like make sure that you guys connect with your friends and people like that that do appreciate the movement and like want to come and help out and support it and stuff like that. I'm not a leader of any side of the movement. I just do like neutral media, so I go between event to event to let people kind of discuss what they've been through and show people actually what's going on. I'm usually up in the front line every time when the police are doing stuff each time. So if you guys one thing that I think that you guys could probably benefit to know what you can do better here is watching what's going on elsewhere. So if you guys want to tune in to watch me, it's just Trey Stewart on Facebook. It's just TRE and then Stewart. Or you can search Boop Troop Eugene on Facebook too. And we have tons of videos, and we also have tons of writers and people that put out blog posts and different ways you can vote and get yourself locked in with different people in the community. And I encourage people here as well, if you guys like want to stream what's going on and record, to do that, because the more people that can see what's going on and are passionate about just like letting more people know what's going on is awesome. And then it brings more people to come out to do things. And you know, it's those of you that are out here, it's cool. And I'm proud of you guys for sitting out here in the hot ass sun and doing this. I mean, it's fun. And I know it seems tough, but just keep going. And it's, you know, you guys are like actually helping make a change. And I know just because there's not a lot of people here to make it seem like it's not like shit's happening. And you know, the video that I'm gonna post of this is gonna get thousands and thousands of views over the next couple days. And now that a lot of people that I have that support what we have going on, next time I come, I'll bring a crap ton of people and we'll help you guys get it moving. So thank you.
Hello. Okay, cool. Making sure that works. My name is Logan Stewart. I'm with Salem DSA. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Elections Committee. We work predominantly with elections, obviously. I interviewed Jackie Leung with her House District race. The reason I came up here today isn't to talk about my organization for once. For once, I've came up here to just talk about policy. I see a lot of passion out here. I see a lot of talking points about voting. But let's talk about what we're voting for. let's talk about defunding the police. Why is it that there are communities in Salem and all over the United States where there are no social workers out there helping poor people? Why are the homeless being kicked out of the public parks instead of being provided housing? Why are black people getting choked to death by police officers? Why? Because we have given millions and millions of dollars to the police instead of caring for our own communities. I look out at the crowd today and I see people of just about every race. And that makes me feel good inside. Because the way we treat on a systemic level our society is when you get a mostly black neighborhood, you get more police officers, you get more police violence. Because instead of trying to help our people, Americans, Oregonians, instead we are policing them. Instead of providing food for the hungry, we are policing them. Instead of housing for the homeless, we are policing them. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And it is time that we take money away from the police for tear gas, for armored cars. Instead of having them go out here and tear gas protests, instead of having them beat people for protesting their supremacy and their rights, their free ability to kill any one of us with virtually no repercussions, we take their money away and we use it to build our community. That is why I'm up here today. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
People, so I'm not gonna look at you guys. I love you guys, but okay. So I am the little bit of percent that a lot of people don't experience all their lives. I was raised by my mother, a white woman, just herself. Didn't have my father. So in life, I'm the oldest of 13 as well. So lots of kids, and I'm the first. So I'm the only black one in my whole family other than my dad's side. And so in my house, I was treated different. So I expected different from the world, and I got it. But I got it a lot different than a lot of my other fellow black community. I had to face both sides of racism from the Latino side and the black side. So I got called the N-word on top of being told to go back to my country that I knew nothing about. And I go to Mexico because of that reason, and I love their culture, but it comes from where you sleep at night, honestly. Like, if you guys just think about where you come from, you can change it. Because if my mom can be racist to me and do anything she wants, the whole world can. So I can change that by not hating white people. I've had to learn that, but being 20, it takes time when you don't got a parent. You parent yourself. Okay. But I've learned hate just brings more hate. So we can change that by just loving everyone. Even if you don't come from love, you can be loving. I mean, it's not that hard, but it can be. You just got to learn how to forgive and just love everyone, because every person goes through different things. Every person's different. Every person comes from a different background. We're all together. We're all unified. Now I just got to wait for Greg.
Hello. Okay, so I've been here and I've just been seeing everybody talk, and I was like, okay, let's just do it. So my name is Amaya. I just graduated from West Salem High School. I turned 18 in February, so I can finally vote this year. If you're 18, you better vote. I don't want to hear it. Also, if you have friends, I know I do, like all you young ones on Instagram, you see them sharing stuff on their Instagram story, make them come out here, okay? Because they're just doing it for Okay, you already know. They're just doing it for the clout, the trend. This ain't a trend, y'all already know. You wouldn't be out here, okay? But yeah, I just wanted to come out here because I didn't really see a lot of our ages. We're all sitting here. Y'all have something to say, I know you do. My sister too. But yeah, we're all young. You guys know Gen Z is very powerful right now. So let's just always come out here. Tell your friends. You guys know you have friends. Y'all look like friends, yes? Like, come out here. Bring all of your friends. Like, even if they're out here just for the trend, I mean, they're out here, okay? So, yes. Okay. Have a good day.
Do online school. And me and my sister and some of our friends created an account on Instagram, and it's kind of to support Black or any allies or any minority teens. And it also informs people on any protests that are happening. So it's called OR.WWNBS, and it stands for Oregon's We Will Not Be Silenced. And if you guys want like more information on anything that's happening, or if you even need somebody to talk to, there's like 5 people that have that account and are running it. So if you need anything, let us know. And yeah.
Power. When people say that, that's because you can move mountains if you have the right knowledge of so. You can do anything you can with knowledge. And with all these phones that I see out, you have all the knowledge right at your fingertips. Remember, the ignorance nowadays is that's not something that you're just born into. You know, you're born a baby, you grown up, you learn things. And now if you become an adult and you just remain blind to these things, you choose that. You choose to remain ignorant. So if I can say anything, arm yourself with knowledge. So when somebody says something, you can actually debate it. You don't have to come at them with emotion. You don't have to come at them with anger, you know, to save that emotion for when you're talking to your friends and you're venting and stuff like that. But use that knowledge when you're trying to educate people. Do your own research. Our schools have taught us a lot of bullshit growing up. Half of what they taught us in schools, it hid so much systemic racism. That's because they didn't want you to know that. But we want you to know that. So do your own research, compile all the knowledge you possibly can, and arm yourself with that, because this is a war. This is a war for a lot of us. It's a new war. But some of these people have been fighting this their whole life. As an ally to all my white allies out there, this is a new war for us. Every sister, every brother out here, they've been fighting it every day of their whole goddamn lives. And they're tired. Black people they're fucking tired. They've been fighting this their whole life. That's why they need us to amplify those voices, to take the things that they're trying to tell people and say it over and over and over again so that they don't have to. So arm yourselves with knowledge. Listen to your Black community. You know, listen to your Black friends. Don't try to talk over them. Let them say whatever they need to say. You know, and absorb those messages. Pass them on. Keep passing them on. Say them a million times if you need to, until people start to actually get the point and you see change. And you'll know when you start to see change, you know? So, thank you guys for coming out. Anybody else want to say anything? Got this mic.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all sweet. Y'all sweet. All right. My name's Amaya as well. And I'm 19, and I'm not originally from Oregon. I'm actually from Northern California, and I moved here to Eastern Washington, and now I'm living in Portland. But I'm here in Salem because we need to be in places like Salem where there's a lot of people who believe in white supremacy, a lot of people who believe in silencing you and believing that fear is ultimately the way of power, because we need to stop enabling that. And a lot of people, they know that they're enabling it. You can't be going back and forth up to the city thinking that that's going to make a change. Racism mainly happens in rural areas of this country. So start there. Start in this community right here in Salem. I know that there's hella racist roots here. The KKK was here. KKK was in Oregon. This wasn't long ago. Exactly. In the world. Everybody, people don't want to remember history. In Oregon, this was supposed to be a utopia for white people. Look it up. This was supposed to be a utopia for white people on the West Coast with all the expansion and shit. We have to stop going to places like Portland and Seattle and San Francisco. Forget those places. I mean, obviously care about those places, but they got a following. Start your following here. Like these young ladies right here who want to be leaders, be there for them. Okay, because we have to be lifting each other up and coming to other communities. We can't stay over in the city. Okay, we know for a fact that people in the city are more liberal, more open-minded, and more willing to help. But we also have to admit that with all the shit that's been going on, excuse my language, that people have been coming up dead, and police have been covering it up, saying people are suicidals and people are just becoming missing and they don't know what's happening. It's like, no. It's like we all know what's happening. People are getting killed. Yeah, we know. People are getting killed, whether it's the police themselves or white supremacists that the police are supporting. So we have to call out not only the white supremacists, but we have to call out the police. This all starts in your community. It's all the people who are in the office, all the people that are at the freaking buildings making all the freaking laws every single week, month, whatever it is, the new policies, the this and the that. It has to end, but like I said, it has to start in your community. So stay here in Salem and progress. Don't let these supremacists, don't let these people with their white fragility hit you, because y'all stronger than that. All right, that's all I got to say.
It's okay. Thank you, Amaya. The Amayas. I love that name. That is a beautiful name. Well, thank you guys all for coming out here. Anybody else want to say anything? Got a few words to say? This microphone is here for you, the community, to speak up and speak out.
Hi. I have my notebook here because I took notes during that school board meeting, you know. I was just like trying to make it clear that like they are saying that they don't have money to do stuff for the students during their like the school year for next year. They're just talking about how they just straight up don't have money. And then, you know, we're trying to talk about divest and defund. And they say they don't have the money and they're going to start focusing on safety. But they're not talking about the SROs. They're not letting us speak. They're tokenizing us.